What's up, Seahawks fans? My name is Noah Bolter. I'm your sports director here at Cable 8 for the fall 2020 semester. Welcome to Unorthodox Sports, where we show you what the others cannot. Today we are talking about how the Seattle Seahawks have let Russ cook this regular season in ways that we have never done before. So excited to get into it. Leave in the comment section below right now what you think about how Seattle is letting Russ cook. Do we keep doing it? Is it too much? Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, so there are 3 ways that Seattle has let Russ cook, and one way that we could see Seattle doing a little bit more down the road here. So number 1, early on in games, I don't know if you've noticed in the past, especially last year, we are always, as the Seattle Seahawks, starting behind in ball games. At halftime, we trail. Later on in the game, it shows and it hurts us later on because we're unable to come back late, or we come back and we barely squeak away with the win, when had we been using our successful formula that brings us back in the second half, in the first half we would be far more successful. Well, that's something that Seattle has actually implemented this year. Multiple games this year, we have opened up with 2-3 straight passes to start a game. That is aggressive. That's something that Seattle hasn't done in the past, and that is a sign that Seattle is willing to change, and we're letting Russ cook in that aspect. As many of you guys know, when you scheme up a football game, you oftentimes scheme up the first drive, so you know what you're going to do ahead of time. You go into the game and you implement that game plan. Well, Seattle is planning on airing the ball out because I believe, and I'm sure Seattle believes too, Russell Wilson right now is the best quarterback in the NFL, and we need to take advantage, and we have absolutely done so by airing the ball out early and often. The second way that Seattle has been letting Russ cook is by running up-tempo offense. How many times over the past couple of years, other than the 2-minute drill right before the half and right before the end of the game, have you seen the Seattle Seahawks run no-huddle offense to catch defenses off guard and to take advantage of poor packages that we might find a defense in? It's rare. That's why this year it has been so important, and we've done it multiple times. Ran the no-huddle offense and kept defense in poor packages and took advantage of mismatches, which has led to scoring on drives, which has been so crucial in some of these games that have ended up being closer than maybe they really should have been. Well, Seattle has been running up tempo at different times throughout this year. The counter side is like, okay, well, what happens if the drive doesn't work out? You run up tempo and immediately after put your defense back on the field. Well, we trust in Seattle our quarterback Russell Wilson way more than that. That's why we're running up tempo, and it's working out. Keep running up tempo for Seattle. And the third way that Seattle has let Russ cook, and that I would like to see Seattle let Russ cook a little bit more down the line, is by allowing Russell Wilson to call some more drives himself when the offense begins to get stagnant. Yes, finally, for the first time ever, we're not only scoring a lot of points in the fourth quarter, but we're also scoring a lot of points in the first quarter, so we're getting that lead. And then what happens? Why are these games still being so close? Well, because during those second and third quarters, our offense gets stagnant at times. We start to go back to those conservative ways, running the football when it's really not there at times. Sometimes we'll just be lackadaisical offensively. We have a lead, so why do we have to go hard? Well, if Russell Wilson is calling the plays, that's going to be different. Last game at Miami, there was a drive where Brian Schottenheimer, his connection with Russell Wilson, possibly because of the humidity, was completely eliminated, and Russell Wilson had to call the drive for the offense. And this is something that I've been calling for a very long time. Russell Wilson called a beautiful drive. It took up over 3 minutes of clock, and Seattle went down and scored it a touchdown. Every drive that I've ever heard of that Russell Wilson called the plays on the drive has ended in a touchdown for Seattle. When that offense gets stagnant between those second and third quarters, let Russell Wilson call a drive or two just to kind of change up the look that we're giving the defense. Change it up just a little bit, because obviously Brian Schottenheimer and Russell Wilson are on the same page about a lot of things, but if Russell Wilson is out there, we allow him to be the difference maker. A lot of teams are scared to let their quarterbacks call their own plays, because just like with no huddle, what if they call their own plays, they make a mistake, now the defense is back on the field? Well, that's not a thing with Seattle, because we trust Russell Wilson. If we really do, like we say we do, let Russ call a drive or two during the middle of a game, and let him just change up the pace, change up the tempo, change up the play calling a little bit by let Russ have his little touch on the play call. So once again, our 3 ways that Seattle has been letting Russ cook so far this year. Number 1, we're coming out airing the ball out early and often, and we are trusting Russell Wilson to make those great passes. We have scripted pass plays early on, and they have been working successfully. We've gotten the lead, and we've held on in every single game so far this year. Knock on wood. The second way that we have been letting Russ cook, running up tempo offense. We're catching defenses in bad packages. They can't match up with some of our personnel, especially now that we have DK Metcalf out there with some of the other names that we have. We're running up tempo at times when we like the package the defenses in. We're keeping them on their heels. We're keeping them uncomfortable, and it has worked beautifully to allow our offense to flourish so far this year. And number 3, we did it last game, and we're gonna do it a couple more times down the rest of the season. Hopefully, let Russell Wilson call a drive of plays here and there just to let him have his touch on the offense. We know our offense believes in him. We know our coaching staff believes in him. He's been so successful at calling plays in the past. Let Russell Wilson call some plays. We're going to be even more successful. Thank you once again for watching this episode of Unorthodox Sports, where we showed you how the Seattle Seahawks have let Russ cook this year, and has led to Russell Wilson being a front runner as of right now for the NFL MVP. I'm your director/producer, Noah Bolter. As always, this is your home for Seahawks, NFL, NBA, Cougar, and Pac-12 coverage on YouTube, Unorthodox Sports.